Hello everyone and welcome. Today I'll show you the chat bubble. Now the chat bubble asset allows you to add chat bubbles or speech bubbles for actors in your scene or for the player character. You can press left alt to show the mouse so you are able to interact with buttons. The system also offers, as said, buttons. So you can have replies that the player can choose for that specific chat bubble. Now, if we go to this character over here, this is a small example dialogue. So to say, you could do dialogues. It's not really recommended to do dialogues with this. Like, it's not made for actual dialogues, but you can basically program your own logic to add dialogues and booleans and whatnot the way you want to. And this is just a tiny example of that. So, hello adventure, what can I do for you? There it says you what this is. You can click on the bubble to make the text go faster, as you can see here. You can also have delays. You can stop the dialogue. You can trigger other dialogues after a delay. You can check the BP. You can also check the demo to see how this works. When you go out of range, for example, this example also has the NPC trigger line. The chat bubble by default will fade out at a certain distance. Now he triggers that dialogue all the time, but that's fine when you go in. And as you can see here, the chat bubbles are also displayed on screen. So if you're not looking, you can also see them. If we go here, the show on screen example, right now it's set to not keep it on screen. So this chat bubble now is not on screen. If you click on, it will actually be kept on screen. So you can toggle that on and off. Basically, it's a variable you can set in the function to show the chat bubble. This is the example to click for the faster text writing speed. You can change a lot of variables in this. You can change the text speed, like how fast it shows up on screen. You can change the border color. You can change a lot of things. Also comes included with the font. If you want to use this font, it's easily editable. If you want to change various parameters inside in terms of aesthetics, so you can easily switch out the look of the chat bubble. This is the example that you can actually trigger the chat bubble on the player, and you can also trigger it for other actors. So you can have a button that the player needs to press, and you can use, like, for example, this dialogue, exclamation mark, like, hey, this is important, do something. Or you could you could trigger the button and then show a chat bubble to another actor to inform the player of, like, hey, look, this happened, right? And this is a example of randomization. The buttons can have an image before as well. We have some animations for the chat bubble itself. You can change different colors. Again, you can do a lot of stuff with this. Again, this is also a quick example of actually going back and such. And we can stop that. And that is pretty much it. This HUD is just here as an example for the player. Like, you could have your character name here, for example, or your portrait, or your status, and you can have the chat bubble, show up above. You can change the position of this using the set anchor function inside of the component. Since this uses the same widget, so there are no separate widgets for the chat bubble for the player and the chat bubble for the actors. So if you switch the chat bubble aesthetics, it will also change the player one. Now, let's go a bit into the third-person character. You can see everything here is documented, same as the component, and same with the Same with the example actors. As an idea, all you have to do, this is the demo HUD, you can just remove that, it's just that character name, HP, MP, whatever. The way this works, pretty much, is this is it. So this is your main function. You add, so to use it, you add the component to the actor that you want to have a chat bubble. And what you do, you drag the chat bubble component, and you do CB, and CB is the prefix for all of the functions you need. You have remove chat bubble, you have CB set visibility range. The visibility range is how far away the player can see the chat bubble from. Like at X amount, like X visibility, that's when the chat bubble will become fully opaque, fully transparent, right? But between that and default set value, it will do like the fade in, fade out, depending on how close the player character is to the chat bubble. The distance is based on the actor itself, on your character itself, not on the camera. This is done so we don't have any issues of the player moving the camera around and maybe seeing a chat bubble disappear or appear based on the camera angle. So it's based on the actor location instead. And we also have CB show chat bubble. This is your main function to trigger a chat bubble. There's also one more CB to use, and that is this one. So we can find it, CB, bind event to CB chat bubble button event. This is so you can trigger events based on what index, on what button has been pressed. I'll show you the test example. Actually, I'll show it here. But yeah, remove chat bubble basically removes a present chat bubble. Sets the visibility range, we talked about that, and show chat bubble. The remove chat bubble, when you would have to use it, is when duration is at 0. By default, if we have duration set at, for example, let's do 2 seconds, when we press play, the system will wait for text to be displayed and then will count 1 and 2, and now it disappears. So it waits until the text is displayed, until it takes 2 seconds to basically remove the chat bubble. If it's on 0, it will not be removed unless a new chat bubble needs to be displayed. The chat bubbles do not stack, so you won't see one above the other. When a new chat bubble function is called, then the old one, if any present, will disappear. Now, other stuff we can do here, right, is of course use bubble appearance. Use bubble appearance basically allows us to use this. And this is the struct for the bubble appearance. We have the text display speed, how fast the text is displayed. For example, if we put it at 1, each second it will add a new input there. Let's skip it for now. Background color, changes the background color. Border changes the border. Text, you have bubble animations. How many times to play that animation? If it's 0 by default, it'll go infinitely. Animation speed, the text animation, same with the loops and the animation speed there. If we disable it, even if something is put here, it will use the default chat bubble appearance. Now, keep on screen. For person it's always on screen, but basically the keep on screen is the boolean to use if you want to keep the widget on screen when the camera is not directly looking at the chat bubble. Duration, we talked about it, it goes away. Now, the button options and button appearance. Button appearance, both of them are arrays. One is actually a struct, if I'm not mistaken. Right, so this works, you make array. If we add a new one, let's say test, it will have both of these. So, if you look here, got it and test. Now got it is the first one and test is the second. You can see the test does not have any appearances. So this is just the really easy to put up. If you want buttons, you just make array, add them here, and the system works. If you break this link, so if you don't have any, it will not show you any buttons. There's no extra functions to add or arrays to mess around with in the component itself, you can just do make array, button options, done. Right, button appearance, as you can see here, all of these are 0. They're already using the first array. Basically, 0 corresponds to this 0. So this appearance will only get applied to the 0 array button. This may be slightly annoying, perhaps, but it's done so you can basically make each button different. So if we do like background color a blue, border color a green, text color a pink, and you also have the same options like these but for the hover, and you can use image or not. Now if we press play here, you'll see the second button actually be different in hover. I'm not sure what happened there actually. I'll have to fix that, but nevertheless it works. For now it just didn't for some reason. Anyway, that's pretty much the gist of it. Yeah, there you go. So it needs to be hovered. But yeah, this is the, as you can see, green, blue, and pink, and then we have yellow and whatnot for the hover. Yeah, I actually got scared for a second there. You have to set all of them up basically. Anyway, this is for this is how you change appearance basically for buttons. If you want to have all of the buttons, you can find there will be in the chat bubble itself, when you look into it, there will be the default appearance you can change. So you are able to change the default appearance, you are able to change a lot of stuff, as I said, aesthetically, to do whatever you want. The bind event will actually, you do a custom event, so you bind event to CB chat bubble button event, drag it, custom event or function. You can even do functions, whatever. You can do whatever you want. And it will by default give you the button index. The button index, again, corresponds to the button here. So 0, so got it, is index 0. It will give you index 0 when you press it. And test, which is index 1, will give you index 1 when you press it. Some of you may know that if we do, for example, in test actor 1, if we look over here, we have the switches, how we set up the chat. And now when you do this event, so CB reply 1, and then you press CB reply 3, because the events are bound, if you press CB reply 3, so if you press the what do you mean button, it will still trigger this. So it'll trigger this event, then go to this event. So if you go down the line to CB reply 5, if you press this event, it'll basically trigger all of these. And if you want to do like a quest reward or something along those lines, like maybe trigger something here, but you don't want it to trigger here, then it would trigger this here as well. Well, that has been fixed. You don't have to worry about that. Basically, in the component itself, we trigger the unbind event from the chat bubble component. So now when you use this event, it will only trigger this event rather than triggering all of them down the line. So you don't have to worry about unbinding events, luckily. Right, set visibility range, I've seen this, so might as well tell you. If you don't know what the default visibility range was, you can do reset visibility range, and that will give you the it will reset visibility range. So, for example, in the test actor 1, which is this guy over here, at begin play we do the show chat bubble, and we use just the exclamation markers and hey, look over here, and we set the visibility range to be high. This allows us to see it from further away, but you don't like, okay, I have to go here, see what the default visibility range is, and copy this. That works, sure, but we can just tick this, and now, as you can see here, it'll go to default visibility range. So as an example, we go here. As you can see, we can see the chat bubble from way far away. Now we trigger this, and as you can see, it already goes away. So that's one way to do it. The examples pretty much use just the sphere collider, right? So on begin play, we show that on component end overlap, and on component begin overlap, it does this. The implementation, you can do it however you want. As I said, the actor that you want the chat bubble component to show up on needs to be added. Needs to have the component added. So I want this button to show a chat bubble. You add the component. You trigger this function. Actually, something I haven't tested is if you could add the chat bubble component to a static mesh, because I know you can add components, and maybe trigger it that way. Well, worth test, but not right now. But you can try. You can trigger that by overlap component. Get component by class. Sorry, actor. Get component by class. Now this is how you can trigger it for other actors. For example, we can trigger this for the player. We go and find the chat bubble component and do show chat bubble and be like, hello. Oh, actually, we'll do this as well, right? We can do hello world. So technically speaking, if I didn't mess something up, when we overlap this guy, it will trigger a player chat bubble. So you can do this like, you can use a player chat bubble I wanted to add, because you can use like, hey, look, I'm hungry. If you make a survival game, you can have the character say, I should probably look forward to this, or I feel parched, etc., etc. So that's pretty much it. Look around in the component if you want. Look around in the examples, and yeah, have fun, and good luck.